In a world where emotions are bought and sold like stocks, what happens when a fiery woman with nothing to lose collides with a cold-hearted millionaire who hides secrets behind his piercing blue eyes? Can love bloom in the shadows of betrayal? The bustling streets of New York City are alive with chatter and chaos, a sharp contrast to the suffocating silence in a dimly lit conference room. Ava Williams, a 27-year-old waitress drowning in medical bills for her ailing mother, stands before the stoic and commanding Ethan Blackwell, a 35-year-old self-made tech millionaire known for his arrogance and ruthless business tactics. Ethan's icy blue eyes scan Ava from head to toe, unimpressed by her simple floral dress and trembling hands. But desperation shines in her hazel eyes, matching the unwavering determination in her voice. "I'll do anything to save my mom," Ava says, clutching the back of a chair to steady herself. Ethan leans back in his chair, his sharp features highlighted by the dim light. His lips curl into a smirk, but there's no humor in his tone. "Anything, Miss Williams?" Ava nods, swallowing the lump in her throat. She doesn't know what she's agreeing to, only that she's out of options. "Marry me," Ethan says, his words cutting through the air like a knife. The next day, Ava finds herself sitting across from Ethan's lawyer in his expansive Manhattan penthouse. The lawyer slides a thick document across the marble table. "The marriage will be purely contractual," Ethan explains coldly. 1 year, no emotions, no physical contact beyond public appearances. "In return, I'll cover your mother's medical expenses and provide you with a generous monthly allowance." Ava hesitates, her heart pounding. The terms are clear, but the reality of marrying a man as cold and arrogant as Ethan is daunting. Still, the image of her bedridden mother propels her to pick up the pen. "Fine," she whispers, signing the document. Ethan's lips twitch, almost as if he's amused. "Welcome to the Blackwell family, Mrs. Blackwell." The wedding is a grand affair, held at an exclusive venue overlooking Central Park. Paparazzi swarm the entrance, snapping photos of New York's most eligible bachelor with his mysterious bride. Ava, dressed in a designer gown that doesn't feel like her own, smiles through gritted teeth as Ethan's arm rests stiffly around her waist. "You look stunning," Ethan says softly, his words a calculated performance for the cameras. "Thanks," Ava mutters, her voice barely audible. As the priest declares them husband and wife, Ethan leans in, his lips brushing her cheek in the faintest whisper. "Remember, this is just a business deal." Living with Ethan is like living in a museum. Everything is pristine, cold, and untouchable. His penthouse is devoid of warmth, much like its owner. Ava spends her days exploring the city, avoiding Ethan and his cutting remarks. But one night, Ava stumbles into Ethan's home office, drawn by the sound of broken glass. She finds him staring at a shattered picture frame, his knuckles bloodied. Inside the frame is a photograph of a young woman, her smile hauntingly familiar. "Get out," Ethan growls, his voice laced with anger and pain. Despite Ethan's cold exterior, Ava begins to notice cracks in his armor. One evening, she sees him tenderly stroking the head of his golden retriever, Max, whispering words of comfort. Another time, she overhears him on the phone, his voice soft and vulnerable as he speaks to someone named Lily. Curiosity gnaws at Ava, but every attempt to break through Ethan's walls is met with resistance. "Don't dig into my past, Ava," he warns one night, his tone icy. "You won't like what you find." As the first month of their marriage draws to a close, Ava receives an anonymous envelope containing photos of Ethan with the woman from the shattered picture frame. The accompanying note reads, "Do you really know the man you married?" Ava's hands tremble as she stares at the photos, her mind racing with questions. Who is the woman in the picture? And what secrets is Ethan hiding? The deeper Ava dives into Ethan's world, the more she realizes the man she married isn't just cold and arrogant, he's hiding secrets that could shatter their fragile arrangement. But when trust wavers, what's left to hold on to? Ava can't stop staring at the photograph in her hands. The woman's striking resemblance to her makes Ava's heart pound with unease. That night, as she sits at the dinner table with Ethan, she decides to confront him. Who is she? Ava asks, sliding the photo across the table. Ethan's jaw tightens. He picks up the photo, his expression unreadable. It's none of your business, he says curtly, standing to leave. But Ava doesn't back down. It is my business, Ethan. You asked me to marry you, dragged me into your world. I deserve to know who this is. Ethan pauses, his back to her. Her name was Lily, he says finally. She was someone I cared about. She's gone. That's all you need to know. The next morning, Ava receives another envelope. This one contains a newspaper clipping about a tragic car accident from 3 years ago. The headline reads, Heiress Lily Evans dies in fiery crash, fiancé suspected of foul play. Ava's blood runs cold. Fiancé? Could Ethan have been engaged to Lily? And what does this mean for her marriage to him? When Ethan comes home that evening, she confronts him again. Why didn't you tell me you were engaged before? Ava demands, holding up the clipping. Ethan's face darkens. Because it's in the past, he says. And I don't owe you an explanation. Maybe not, Ava snaps, but someone out there thinks I should know the truth. Over the next few days, tension between Ava and Ethan reaches a boiling point. He becomes more withdrawn, spending long hours at work and avoiding her at home. One night, Ava finds herself in Ethan's study again. This time, she searches his desk drawers, hoping to uncover more about Lily and the accident. She finds a hidden journal filled with Ethan's handwritten notes. One entry catches her eye. I didn't protect her. I couldn't save her. If only I'd stayed that night. Ava's heart aches as she reads the words, sensing the guilt and pain Ethan has been carrying. But before she can read further, Ethan storms in, furious. What the hell are you doing? He demands, snatching the journal from her hands. I wanted to understand you, Ava stammers. Ethan's voice softens, but his expression remains guarded. Some things are better left buried, Ava. Let it go. Ava decides to respect Ethan's wishes, but the mystery around Lily continues to haunt her. Meanwhile, her relationship with Ethan begins to shift. Small moments of kindness peek through his icy exterior, a cup of tea left on her nightstand, a gentle word of encouragement when she struggles with her mom's hospital bills. One evening, Ethan surprises Ava by inviting her to a charity. Determined to learn the truth, Ava visits the archives at the local library, searching for more information about Lily's death. She discovers reports suggesting that Ethan was the last person seen with Lily before the crash. Rumors of an argument and accusations of foul play are scattered throughout the articles. Ava returns home, her mind racing with questions. She confronts Ethan once again, unable to hold back her doubts. "Did you have anything to do with Lily's death?" she asks, her voice trembling. Ethan's face pales, and for a moment, he looks vulnerable. "No," he says quietly. "But I wasn't there when she needed me most. That's my burden to bear." Before Ava can press further, Ethan's phone buzzes. He answers it, his expression darkening. "I'll be there," he says, ending the call abruptly. Ethan grabs his coat, but before he leaves, he turns to Ava. "Stay here. Don't go anywhere," he warns. As the door closes behind him, Ava's curiosity gets the better of her. Ignoring Ethan's warning, she follows him into the night, unaware that her decision will lead to a discovery that changes everything. Ava thought she was unraveling Ethan's secrets, but what she discovers is a web far more tangled than she could have ever imagined. Will the truth set her free, or trap her in a dangerous game she never agreed to play? Ava trails Ethan through the dark streets of Manhattan, her heart pounding in her chest. She stays at a safe distance, careful not to alert him to her presence. Ethan's black SUV pulls up to an abandoned building on the outskirts of the city. Ava parks her car a block away and sneaks closer, hiding behind a row of dumpsters. She watches as Ethan meets with a shadowy figure, a man dressed in all black with a scar running down his cheek. Their heated conversation is muffled, but Ava hears enough to pick up fragments. "Debt. Lily, it ends tonight." Before Ava can process what she's heard, the scarred man shoves Ethan against the wall. Ethan retaliates swiftly, pinning the man down with an agility that surprises Ava. But the sight of her husband in such a dangerous confrontation chills her to the bone. Ava rushes home before Ethan can notice her absence. She tries to calm her racing thoughts but is startled when her phone buzzes with an unknown number. Hesitantly, she answers. "I saw you following Ethan," a woman's voice says. Ava's breath catches. "Who is this?" "Let's just say I know what you're going through," the woman replies cryptically. "Meet me tomorrow at Central Park, near the fountain. I can give you answers." The call ends abruptly, leaving Ava shaken yet intrigued. The next day, Ava nervously approaches the fountain in Central Park. A striking woman in her early 30s with auburn hair and piercing green eyes steps forward, introducing herself as Camilla Evans, Lily's older sister. "I've been watching Ethan for years," Camilla says, her voice filled with venom. "He's the reason Lily is dead." Ava recoils. "Ethan told me he wasn't there when it happened." Camilla laughs bitterly. "Of course he said that. But the truth is, they fought the night she died. He was controlling, manipulative, and when Lily tried to leave him, he snapped. The accident wasn't an accident, Ava." Ava's mind spins as Camilla slides a USB drive into her hand. "There's proof on there. Watch it, and you'll see what kind of monster you married." Back at the penthouse, Ava locks herself in the guest bedroom and plugs the USB drive into her laptop. The screen lights up with video footage of Ethan and Lily arguing in a parking lot. Ethan's voice is raised, his anger palpable. "I'm not letting you ruin everything," Ethan shouts in the video. Lily retorts, her voice trembling. "I'm done, Ethan. I'm leaving, and you can't stop me." The video cuts off as Lily storms away, leaving Ethan standing alone. Though the footage doesn't show the crash, Ava's stomach churns with doubt and fear. Ethan returns home that evening, his usual stoic demeanor intact. Ava struggles to act normal, but her mind is consumed by what she saw. The tension between Ava and Ethan grows as days pass. Ava starts avoiding Ethan, consumed by her inner turmoil. Meanwhile, Ethan notices her distant behavior but doesn't confront her, until one evening when he finds the USB drive on her desk. "You've been digging into my past," Ethan says coldly, holding up the drive. "I had to," Ava snaps. "You lied to me about Lily. Camilla told me everything." Ethan's face hardens. "You spoke to Camilla? You have no idea what you've done." "Then tell me the truth, Ethan," Ava pleads. Ethan hesitates, his expression unreadable. "Camilla has always blamed me for Lily's death. But what she didn't tell you is that Lily wasn't running away from me, she was running away from her." Ava stares at him, stunned. "What are you talking about?" Ethan steps closer, his voice low. "Lily discovered that Camilla was embezzling money from their family's trust fund. The night of the crash, she told me everything. She was scared, Ava. Scared of what her sister might do to her." Ava's mind reels as she processes Ethan's words. Could Camilla be lying? Or is Ethan spinning another web of deceit? Before Ava can respond, Ethan's phone buzzes again. He checks the screen and curses under his breath. "They've found her," he mutters. "Found who?" Ava asks, her voice trembling. Ethan looks at her, his eyes filled with an emotion she can't decipher. "The one person who can prove everything I've told you. But we're running out of time." Without another word, Ethan grabs Ava's hand and pulls her toward the door. Ava is thrust deeper into a dangerous game of lies, half-truths, and secrets. As she races to uncover the truth, she must decide who to trust, her enigmatic husband or the stranger who claims to know everything. But the clock is ticking, and every decision could be her last. Ethan's grip on Ava's hand is firm as they rush to his car. "Ethan, where are we going?" Ava demands, trying to keep up. "To meet someone who can tell you the truth," Ethan replies, his tone clipped. They drive in tense silence for over an hour, heading toward a secluded cabin in upstate New York. As the car winds through dense forest roads, Ava's mind races with questions. When they arrive, Ethan parks in front of a small, rustic cabin. A middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and graying hair steps out, her face etched with caution. "This is Dr. Marlowe," Ethan says, introducing her. She was Lily's therapist, and she knows what really happened the night of the crash. Inside the cabin, Dr. Marlowe serves tea while Ethan paces anxiously. Ava sits nervously across from her. "Lily was a troubled soul," Dr. Marlowe begins, her voice soft but steady. "She loved Ethan, but she was torn between loyalty to him and fear of her sister, Camilla." "What kind of fear?" Ava asks, leaning forward. Dr. Marlowe hesitates, glancing at Ethan. "Camilla was manipulative, controlling. Lily discovered that Camilla had been stealing from their family trust. She wanted to expose her, but she feared the fallout. The night of the accident, Lily came to me, terrified. She said she was meeting Ethan to plan her escape." Ava's breath catches. "Escape? From what?" Dr. Marlowe sighs. "From Camilla's grasp. She believed Camilla wouldn't let her go without a fight." Ethan finally speaks, his voice tight. "Lily was supposed to meet me after her therapy session, but she never showed." Back at the penthouse, Ava is torn. Dr. Marlowe's account aligns with Ethan's version of events, but Ava can't shake the lingering doubts planted by Camilla. That night, Camilla calls Ava again. "Did Ethan take you to his little puppet, Dr. Marlowe?" she asks, her voice dripping with disdain. "What do you mean?" Ava counters. "Ethan paid her to spin that story," Camilla claims. "He's desperate to keep his hands clean. Don't let him fool you." Ava's resolve wavers. "If you're so sure he's guilty, why haven't you gone to the police?" "I tried," Camilla snaps. "But Ethan has power and connections. No one would listen to me." The next morning, Ava confronts Ethan. "Camilla says you paid Dr. Marlowe to lie for you. Is that true?" Ethan's face darkens. "Camilla will say anything to turn you against me. She's trying to isolate you, just like she did with Lily." Ava's voice rises. "Then give me something real, Ethan. I can't keep living in this shadow of doubt." Ethan steps closer, his gaze piercing. "You want proof? Fine. Come with me tonight, and I'll show you everything." That evening, Ethan takes Ava to his private office in downtown Manhattan. He unlocks a safe hidden behind a bookshelf and retrieves a thick folder. "These are the police reports, financial records, and emails that Lily collected," Ethan explains. "She gave them to me the night she died." Ava flips through the documents, her heart sinking as she sees undeniable evidence of Camilla's embezzlement. But one email catches her eye, a message from Lily to Ethan, sent hours before the crash. "Ethan, I'm scared. Camilla found out about the files. She threatened me. I don't know what to do. Please meet me at Dr. Marlowe's after my session." Ava's hands tremble. "Why didn't you show this to the police?" "I tried," Ethan says. "But Camilla's lawyers buried the case. They made it look like I was the one to blame." As Ava processes the new information, the office lights suddenly flicker. Ethan's phone buzzes with a text, "Leave her out of this, or you'll regret it." Ethan stiffens. "We have to go. Now." Before they can leave, the office door bursts open, and Camilla storms in, flanked by two menacing bodyguards. "You just couldn't let it go, could you?" Camilla sneers. "Digging up the past like a dog with a bone." Ava steps forward. "Camilla, stop this. We know the truth." Camilla laughs coldly. "You know nothing. You think these papers will save you? I've destroyed people for less." Ethan moves protectively in front of Ava. "If you harm her, I'll make sure the whole world knows what you did." Camilla's expression hardens. "You don't scare me, Ethan. But maybe this will." She nods to her bodyguards, who advance toward them. "I waited for hours before I got the call about the crash." Just as the tension reaches its peak, police sirens wail outside. Camilla's confident facade falters as uniformed officers storm the building. Ethan smirks. "You underestimated me, Camilla. I've been working with the authorities for months. It's over." As Camilla is handcuffed and led away, she throws a final venomous glare at Ava. "This isn't the end. You'll regret choosing him." Ava clings to Ethan, relief and fear swirling inside her. But deep down, she knows the fight is far from over. With Camilla in custody, Ava and Ethan believe their nightmare is over. But as new threats emerge and old wounds resurface, Ava must confront the ultimate question: can she truly trust the man she married? The truth she uncovers will change everything. Ava sits by the window of their penthouse, sipping coffee. The chaos of the past weeks feels like a distant memory, but her mind is restless. Ethan, though relieved, has been distant, preoccupied with his business dealings. As Ava flips through the morning news, a headline catches her eye. Camilla Evans released on bail, claims evidence was fabricated. Ava's stomach churns. She rushes to find Ethan, who is on a business call in his study. She's out, Ava says, holding up her phone. Ethan's jaw tightens. I expected this. Her lawyers are the best money can buy. What do we do now? Ava asks, fear creeping into her voice. We stay vigilant, Ethan replies. And we stick together. Later that evening, Ava receives an anonymous letter slipped under their door. Inside is a single piece of paper with the words, "You're in danger. Trust no one." Ava shows the letter to Ethan, who dismisses it as another scare tactic from Camilla. She's trying to rattle you, Ethan says. Don't let her win. But Ava can't shake the feeling that the warning is more than just a ploy. Ava decides to visit Dr. Marlowe again, seeking clarity. When she arrives at the cabin, she finds it ransacked. Papers are strewn everywhere, and there's no sign of the therapist. Panicked, Ava calls Ethan, but before she can speak, a shadowy figure emerges from the back of the cabin. I wouldn't trust everything Ethan says if I were you, the man says, his voice cold and calculated. Who are you? Ava demands, backing away. My name is Victor, the man replies. I worked for Ethan. I know his secrets, the ones he hasn't told you. Ava's heart pounds. What secrets? Victor smirks. Ethan wasn't just a businessman when he met Lily. He was involved in some unsavory activities. Camilla isn't the only one with blood on her hands. Ava confronts Ethan that night, her voice trembling with anger. Who is Victor? She demands. Ethan freezes, his expression unreadable. Where did you hear that name? I met him at Dr. Marlowe's cabin, Ava says. He told me you're hiding something. Ethan runs a hand through his hair, his calm facade cracking. Victor used to work for me. He's bitter because I fired him after discovering he was stealing from my company. Is that the truth, Ethan? Or is it just another half-truth? Ava presses. I'm trying to protect you, Ava, Ethan says, his voice rising. You don't understand the kind of people we're dealing with. The next morning, Ava receives a package with no return address. Inside is a USB drive labeled The Real Ethan. She plugs it into her laptop and watches in horror as footage of Ethan meeting with dangerous-looking individuals plays on the screen. There's no sound, but the body language and exchanged envelopes are unmistakable. When Ethan enters the room, Ava confronts him again, this time with tears in her eyes. What is this, Ethan? Who are you really? Ethan looks at the screen, his face a mixture of guilt and defiance. It's not what it looks like. Then tell me what it is. Ava shouts. When I met Lily, I was involved in business deals that weren't entirely legal. I got out when I realized how dangerous it was, but Victor and others like him never let me go completely. Why didn't you tell me? Ava asks, her voice breaking. Because I didn't want to lose you, Ethan admits. You're the only good thing in my life, Ava. I couldn't risk it. Just as Ava begins to process Ethan's confession, her phone buzzes with a video message from Camilla. In the video, Camilla sits in a dark room, a wicked smile on her face. You thought you could win, Ethan? Think again, Camilla says. She pans the camera to show Dr. Marlowe tied to a chair, gagged and terrified. If you don't hand over the evidence you have on me, she dies, Camilla continues. You have 24 hours. Ava stares at the screen in shock. We have to call the police. No, Ethan says firmly. Camilla will kill her before they get there. We have to handle this ourselves. Ethan and Ava devise a plan to meet Camilla at an abandoned warehouse. Ethan brings a fake set of documents, hoping to trade them for Dr. Marlowe's life. When they arrive, Camilla is waiting with her bodyguards and a smug expression. You really think I'd fall for this? She sneers, snatching the documents and throwing them aside. I'm not stupid, Ethan. Camilla orders her men to grab Ava, but Ethan springs into action, disarming one of the guards. Chaos ensues as Ethan and Camilla's men fight. In the commotion, Ava manages to free Dr. Marlowe, and the two women hide behind a stack of crates. Ethan eventually overpowers the guards, but Camilla grabs a gun and, with Camilla in custody for good and Victor exposed as a manipulative opportunist, Ava and Ethan return home, exhausted but relieved. You in remorse. I've made mistakes, but I want to make things right, with you, with us. Ava takes a deep breath, her trust still shaken but her heart still hopeful. If we're going to move forward, there can be no more secrets, Ethan. No more secrets, Ethan promises, pulling her into a tight embrace. As they look out at the city skyline, Ava realizes that while their journey has been harrowing, it has also made them stronger. Together, they can face whatever comes next. Just as Ethan and Ava think they can rebuild their lives, a shadow from the past reappears with a vengeance. This time, the stakes are higher, and the danger is closer than ever. Can their fragile trust withstand another storm, or will it shatter completely? Ava sits in their sunlit living room, sketching designs for her upcoming art exhibition. She feels a sense of normalcy returning, though the scars of recent events linger. Ethan walks in with a bouquet of her favorite flowers. Thought you could use a little color, he says, smiling. Ava smiles back. Thank you, Ethan. Things feel better. For a brief moment, it feels like they're back to being a couple untouched by chaos. But Ava's phone buzzes, breaking the serenity. The message is from an unknown number. You thought it was over? Think again. Ava's heart sinks. She shows it to Ethan, whose face hardens. We need to find out who's behind this. Ethan contacts his head of security, James, to trace the message. Within hours, James discovers it was sent from a public internet cafe near downtown. I'll check it out, Ethan says. Ava insists on coming along, and together they head to the cafe. The manager recognizes the description of a man who visited earlier, a scruffy, middle-aged individual with a noticeable scar on his left cheek. He left this, the manager says, handing over a crumpled envelope. Inside is a photo of Ethan shaking hands with a man Ava doesn't recognize, with the words, "Who's really hiding secrets," scrawled across the back. Ethan looks at the photo and stiffens. That's Gregory Payne. He was an associate from years ago. What kind of associate? Ava asks, her suspicion creeping back. The dangerous kind, Ethan admits. Aims it at Ava. Hands. Ethan explains that Gregory was part of the illegal dealings he had been involved in before meeting Ava. Gregory was a ruthless figure who disappeared after a falling out with Ethan years ago. He must think I owe him something, Ethan speculates. The next day, Ava receives another anonymous delivery, a recording of Gregory threatening Ethan. "You ruined my life, Ethan. Now, I'll ruin yours. You won't see it coming." Ava confronts Ethan. "Why didn't you tell me about Gregory before?" "I didn't think he'd resurface," Ethan says, clearly distressed. Gregory's threats escalate. Ethan's company faces a cyber attack, compromising sensitive client data. A scandal erupts in the media, accusing Ethan of financial misconduct. As the tension mounts, Ava finds herself questioning everything. How much more is there, Ethan? How many more secrets are going to come back to haunt us? Ethan tries to reassure her. "I'll handle it, Ava. I won't let Gregory destroy what we've built." But Ava's patience is wearing thin. "You can't handle this alone. We need help." Ethan reluctantly reaches out to an old ally, Detective Lauren Pierce, who had helped him navigate the legal fallout of his shady past. Lauren agrees to assist but warns, Gregory isn't just after revenge. He wants to dismantle everything you hold dear. Meanwhile, Ava begins her own investigation, determined to uncover more about Gregory. She meets with Victor, who is still bitter but willing to share what he knows. Gregory isn't just targeting Ethan. "He's targeting you, too," Victor says. "He sees you as Ethan's weakness." Gregory lures Ethan into a trap by threatening to harm Ava. Ethan receives a message with Ava's photo and the words, "Come alone, or she pays the price." Against Ava's protests, Ethan goes to the location, a derelict warehouse. But when he arrives, he finds not Ava but Gregory, who is armed and seething with rage. "You took everything from me, Ethan," Gregory growls. "Now I'll take everything from you." Ethan tries to reason with him, but Gregory reveals his endgame, a bomb planted at Ava's art gallery opening that evening. Ethan escapes Gregory's clutches and races to the gallery. He calls Ava, who is already at the event, surrounded by guests and unaware of the danger. "Get everyone out, now!" Ethan shouts. Ava doesn't hesitate, pulling the fire alarm and evacuating the building. Ethan arrives just as the bomb squad disarms the device. Gregory is apprehended shortly after, thanks to Lauren's efforts. With Gregory behind bars, Ethan and Ava finally have a moment to breathe. "I'm sorry for everything," Ethan says, holding Ava close. "You didn't sign up for this life." Ava looks into his eyes. "I didn't sign up for the lies, Ethan. But I did sign up for us. If we're going to make this work, we have to face everything together." Ethan nods, determination in his eyes. No more secrets. As they walk away from the chaos, hand in hand, they both know the road ahead won't be easy. But for the first time, they feel ready to face it, together. Just when the dust settles, Ava uncovers a revelation that shakes her faith in Ethan again. With trust hanging by a thread, can their love survive another betrayal, or will it crumble under the weight of the truth? A week after Gregory's arrest, life appears to be returning to normal. However, Ava notices Ethan is becoming distant, spending long hours locked in his study or taking secretive phone calls. One evening, while Ethan is out, Ava finds an envelope on his desk containing a signed agreement. The document mentions a transfer of assets to an anonymous party. Confused and alarmed, she takes a photo of the document and decides to confront Ethan. When Ethan returns, Ava shows him the photo and demands an explanation. Who are you transferring assets to, Ethan? And why are you hiding it from me? Ethan hesitates, visibly torn. It's nothing you need to worry about. I'm just tying up loose ends. Loose ends? Ava repeats, her voice rising. That's not an answer, Ethan. After everything we've been through, you owe me honesty. Ethan sighs. Fine. It's for a private investigator. I'm trying to uncover all possible threats, loose ends from my past. Though Ethan's explanation seems plausible, Ava can't shake the feeling that he's hiding more. The next day, Ava receives an unexpected visit from Lauren Pierce, the detective who helped bring Gregory down. Ava, I came to warn you, Lauren says. During Gregory's interrogation, he hinted that Ethan might still be involved in some unsavory dealings. I thought you should know. Ava is stunned. Why would he say that? He was clearly trying to destroy Ethan. Lauren hesitates. True, but Gregory knew things about Ethan's recent activities, things I didn't expect. Lauren hands Ava a file containing photos of Ethan meeting with shadowy figures in dimly lit locations. Ava's world begins to spiral as she tries to piece together the puzzle. Could Ethan still be entangled in the dangerous world he promised to leave behind? That night, she confronts Ethan again, showing him the photos. Why are you meeting with these people? She demands. Ethan's face darkens. You had me followed? No, Lauren gave me these, Ava snaps. Stop deflecting and tell me the truth. Ethan finally admits he has been working to pay off an old debt to protect Ava. If I don't, they'll come after you. I'm doing this for us. But Ava isn't convinced. You're putting me in danger by lying, Ethan. That's not protection. Determined to find answers, Ava reaches out to Victor, Ethan's estranged brother. Victor hesitates but eventually reveals a shocking secret. Ethan had been laundering money through one of his companies to pay off the debt. Why do you think he's always in his study? He's trying to cover his tracks, Victor says. Ava feels her trust in Ethan crumble further. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I wanted to, but I thought you'd figure it out on your own, Victor replies. Back home, Ava confronts Ethan once more, her voice trembling with emotion. You lied to me again. Victor told me everything. Ethan's face falls. Ava, I was trying to shield you. Shield me? By breaking the law? By dragging us back into the chaos we just escaped from? Ethan tries to explain, but Ava interrupts. How can I trust you, Ethan? Every time I think we're on solid ground, you pull me under again. Ethan reaches for her, but she steps back. I need time to think. Ava leaves the house and checks into a hotel, needing space to sort through her emotions. She calls Lauren for advice. You need to decide what you want, Ava, Lauren says. Do you want to keep fighting for this relationship, or is it time to walk away? Meanwhile, Ethan spirals into guilt and regret. He knows he has to make things right, but he doesn't know how. Ethan sends Ava a heartfelt letter, admitting his mistakes and vowing to come clean about everything, no matter the cost. Ava reads the letter but doesn't respond immediately. She knows she has to make a choice, one that will define the future of their relationship. As the episode ends, Ava stands at the edge of a lake, holding the letter, while Ethan stares at her photo on his desk. The air is thick with tension, leaving the audience wondering, will Ava forgive Ethan, Or is this the end of their story? With Ava torn between forgiveness and letting go, Ethan must prove he's willing to change. But just as they inch closer to reconciliation, a shocking betrayal from an unexpected source throws everything into disarray. Can their love survive one final test? Ava returns to the house to collect some belongings. She finds Ethan sitting on the stairs, looking lost. "I wasn't sure you'd come back," Ethan says softly. "I'm not staying," Ava replies. "I just came to get my things." Ethan rises, his eyes pleading. "Please, Ava. Give me a chance to explain everything. No more secrets, I promise." Ava hesitates, then nods. "One last time, Ethan. But if I catch even a hint of a lie, I'm done." In the living room, Ethan lays everything bare: his dealings with Gregory, the debt he inherited from his father, and the pressure he faced to keep Ava safe. "I know I've made terrible choices," Ethan admits. "But I did it all because I was scared of losing you." Ava listens in silence, her emotions a whirlwind of anger, pain, and compassion. "You don't get to use love as an excuse for lies, Ethan. Love is about trust, and you've shattered mine over and over." Ethan kneels before her, tears in his eyes. "I'll do whatever it takes to earn your trust back. Just tell me how." Ava's heart softens slightly, but she remains guarded. "It's not that simple, Ethan. Trust has to be rebuilt, not begged for." The next morning, Ethan receives a call from his lawyer. His company's accounts have been frozen, and he's being investigated for fraud. Panicked, Ethan investigates and discovers that someone close to him leaked sensitive information to the authorities. When he confronts his team, he learns that Victor, his brother, is behind the betrayal. Victor, feeling overlooked and resentful of Ethan's success, tipped off regulators in an attempt to take over the company. Ethan confronts Victor in a heated exchange. "You were supposed to be my brother," Ethan shouts. Victor sneers. "And you were supposed to be someone I could look up to. Instead, you turned into the same man our father was, arrogant, deceitful, and willing to destroy anyone in your way." Ethan clenches his fists but holds back. "You're wrong, Victor. I made mistakes, but I never meant to hurt anyone. Especially not Ava." Victor scoffs. "You think she'll stay after everything she's learned? You've already lost her." Ethan leaves, vowing to salvage what's left of his company in his relationship with Ava. Ava, unaware of Victor's betrayal, spends time reflecting on her relationship with Ethan. She visits Lauren, who offers a new perspective. "People make mistakes, Ava," Lauren says. "The question is whether you believe Ethan can truly change." Later, Ava finds a video on her phone, a recording of her and Ethan during happier times. In it, Ethan talks about how Ava inspired him to be a better man. Tears streaming down her face, Ava realizes that despite everything, she still loves him. Ava returns home to find Ethan packing his things. "I'm leaving," he says. "You deserve a fresh start without me dragging you down." Ava stops him. "Running away won't fix anything, Ethan. If we're going to move forward, we have to face this together." Ethan looks at her, hope flickering in his eyes. "Does this mean?" "It means I'm willing to try," Ava says. "But only if you promise to be honest with me from now on. No more lies, no more secrets." Ethan nods. "I swear, Ava. No more." Ethan works tirelessly to clear his name and rebuild his company. He publicly addresses the allegations, taking full responsibility for his past mistakes and vowing to operate transparently moving forward. Ava, meanwhile, focuses on her art, channeling her emotions into a powerful new collection that gains widespread acclaim. Together, they attend therapy to rebuild their trust and strengthen their bond. Though the road is not easy, they find solace in knowing they're taking it one step at a time. A hard-earned peace. Months later, Ethan surprises Ava with a simple yet heartfelt gesture, a picnic at the spot where they first met. As they sit under the stars, Ethan takes her hand. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm grateful for it every day." Ava smiles. "It's not about deserving, Ethan. It's about choosing to move forward together." The two share a tender kiss, their love stronger and more resilient than ever. As Ava and Ethan begin to rebuild their lives, a shadow from Ethan's past resurfaces, threatening to unravel everything they've fought for. Can their love withstand this final test, or will the ghosts of the past tear them apart forever? The episode opens with a hopeful scene. Ava and Ethan are sitting together in their living room, now filled with light and warmth. Ethan has made a fresh start with his business, and Ava is finally able to focus on her art without the constant tension. "I never imagined we'd get here," Ava says, glancing over at Ethan. "I thought we were done." Ethan smiles softly, his eyes filled with gratitude. "So did I. But we're still standing." Ava leans in, kissing him gently. "Together, we're unstoppable." But the peace is short-lived. Ethan receives an urgent call late one night. His lawyer informs him that an old adversary, Victor's ex-business partner, has filed a lawsuit, claiming Ethan owes him millions from an old deal. This is the same partner who helped finance some of the dangerous dealings that put Ethan in jeopardy before. The lawsuit threatens not only Ethan's financial recovery but also his hard-won reputation. "I thought we were past this," Ethan mutters, staring at his phone. "I thought I left all this behind." Ava overhears, and her stomach drops. "What's going on, Ethan?" Ethan turns to her, worry etched on his face. "It's an old business partner. Someone I thought was long gone. But now he's back and dragging everything I worked for through the mud." Ava, feeling the weight of this new problem, takes his hand. "We'll get through this, together. We've already survived so much." Ethan decides to confront Victor, hoping to find a resolution. When he meets Victor at a neutral location, it's clear that Victor is still bitter and vindictive. "You think you can just sweep everything under the rug, Ethan?" Victor sneers. "You're not getting away with it. This lawsuit is just the beginning." Ethan, trying to stay calm, responds, "This isn't about business anymore, Victor. It's personal. You've crossed a line." Victor laughs, his eyes cold. "Oh, I'm just getting started. You'll pay for what you did to me." As Victor storms off, Ethan's frustration grows. Ava, overhearing the conversation, feels the sting of betrayal once more. As the lawsuit drags on, Ethan becomes consumed with fighting the legal battle, pulling away from Ava once again. The strain on their relationship starts to show, and Ava begins to doubt whether this is a fight worth continuing. She confides in Lauren during a late-night phone call. "I don't know how much more I can take, Lauren," Ava admits, her voice heavy. "Every time I think we're moving forward, something from Ethan's past pulls us back. How much more can I give?" Lauren, offering her support, responds, "Ava, you have to decide what's best for you. You've been through a lot. If you're not happy, it's okay to walk away. The following day, Ethan discovers that Victor has been secretly leaking damaging information to the media. His ex-business partner has manipulated the situation to paint Ethan as the villain, further complicating the lawsuit. Feeling cornered, Ethan confronts Victor again, this time at his office. "You've ruined everything, Victor. You've dragged me into this mess." "Why?" Victor stands up, eyes gleaming with malice. "You took everything from me, Ethan. Everything. Now, I'm taking it all back." Ava overhears the confrontation and, once again, feels torn between her love for Ethan and her fear of being dragged into the chaos. She insists that they take a break from the constant stress. "We need space, Ethan," she says softly. "I can't keep doing this. I need to figure out what I want." Ethan, now desperate, pleads with her. "Ava, please. I can't lose you again. I'm fighting for us, for our future. Don't walk away now." Ava looks at him, torn, before finally replying, "I need time to think. I don't know if I can trust you with everything anymore." Ethan, feeling abandoned, doubles down on his efforts to fix the mess, working day and night with his lawyer. But as the pressure builds, he makes a critical mistake. He lies to Ava about the extent of the damage to his business, hoping to protect her from the truth. When Ava finds out the truth through a source, her trust in him shatters once again. "You lied to me, Ethan. I gave you a chance to be honest, and you betrayed me," she says, her voice cold with hurt. Ethan tries to explain, but Ava isn't listening. "This is the last time, Ethan. I can't keep doing this." In the final moments of the episode, Ava takes one last walk down memory lane, revisiting old photos of her and Ethan, remembering the love they once shared. She stands by the window, watching the city below, deep in thought. Ethan, meanwhile, makes a decision of his own. He calls his lawyer and instructs him to end the lawsuit once and for all, regardless of the consequences. As the episode concludes, Ava stands on the precipice of a life-altering decision. Will she choose to fight for her love and rebuild what's been broken, or will she walk away from the man who has caused her so much pain? The episode ends with Ethan standing outside Ava's door, waiting for her answer. He knows he's running out of time. Ava, standing inside, stares at him through the glass, unsure of the future. Ava stands at the crossroads of her life, torn between love and self-preservation. As the stakes rise higher and the past continues to haunt them, the moment of truth has finally arrived. Will she choose to rebuild or walk away for good? The episode opens with Ava standing inside her apartment, staring through the glass at Ethan, who stands in the hallway, visibly exhausted but resolute. There's a quiet tension in the air, both of them unsure of what the other is thinking. Ava looks away from the window, the weight of her decision pressing on her chest. "I can't keep doing this, Ethan," she whispers to herself. "I don't know if I can trust you anymore." On the other side of the door, Ethan closes his eyes, knowing he's on the brink of losing everything. He can't undo the mistakes of the past, but he's ready to do whatever it takes to prove he's worthy of her trust. Ava finally opens the door. Without a word, she steps back, allowing Ethan to enter. He walks in, but the room feels colder than before, the silence between them deafening. "Ava, I've done everything wrong. I've lied to you, kept things from you, and I've hurt you in ways I can never take back," Ethan begins. His voice trembles slightly. "But I'm done running. I'm done lying." Ava looks at him, her heart still heavy with doubt. "You said you were done before, Ethan. But here we are again, and you've lied to me one more time." Ethan takes a step forward, his eyes locked onto hers. "I know. And I don't expect forgiveness. But I'm asking you, no, I'm begging you, give me one last chance to prove that I can be the man you deserve." Before Ava can respond, her phone rings. She checks the caller ID and freezes. It's her father. Ava answers the phone, but the conversation takes an unexpected turn. Her father's voice is frantic, his words cutting through the tension in the room. "Ava, I need you to come to the hospital. It's your mother, she's had an accident." Ava's face goes pale. She looks at Ethan, torn between her family and the man standing before her. "I have to go," she says, voice barely above a whisper. Ethan, filled with concern, grabs her arm gently. "I'll come with you. You shouldn't be alone right now." Ava shakes her head, pulling away. "I'll handle it. I need to go alone." She rushes out of the apartment, leaving Ethan standing, helpless. Ava arrives at the hospital, where her father and brother are waiting anxiously. Her mother's condition is critical, and the doctors are doing everything they can. The scene is chaotic, but Ava's mind is elsewhere, on Ethan, and on the decision she now has to make. Her father, noticing her distracted state, puts a hand on her shoulder. "I know things haven't been easy with you and Ethan, but family comes first." Ava nods, but her thoughts are elsewhere. She wants to make a decision about her relationship, but now it feels like there's no time left. Back at the apartment, Ethan paces restlessly, unsure of what to do. He hasn't heard from Ava in hours. His mind races as he wonders if he's lost her forever. Just then, his phone buzzes. It's a message from his. Ava faces her greatest choice yet, to embrace a future of healing with Ethan or to let go of everything she's fought for. As secrets unravel and truths come to light, she must decide whether love can truly conquer all. The episode begins with a quiet morning. Ava sits at her mother's bedside, her hand wrapped around her mother's cold fingers. The beep of the heart monitor is steady, a small comfort in the otherwise tense silence. She hasn't seen Ethan since last night, after their conversation in the hallway. Her mind is tangled. She's given so much to this relationship, so much trust, only to have it broken over and over again. But now, standing at the precipice of losing her mother, she realizes something crucial. She doesn't know if she can continue living in fear of being hurt. Her father walks into the room, his face weary but hopeful. "Ava," he says softly, "your mother is a fighter. She's been through worse, and she'll make it through this." Ava nods, not trusting her voice. "I hope you're right, Dad. I don't know what to do anymore." Meanwhile, outside the hospital, Ethan waits, a mixture of hope and fear building in his chest. He hasn't heard from Ava all morning, and he can't stand not knowing how she's feeling. He stands up from the bench, pacing in the hospital lobby. He doesn't care about the business or the lawsuit anymore. It's Ava, only Ava, that matters. He's ready to walk away from it all if it means she'll give him a chance to prove his love and loyalty. Just then, his phone rings. It's his lawyer. He answers reluctantly, knowing that if he doesn't take the call, the consequences will be severe. "Mr. Caldwell, we have a serious issue. The lawsuit has been filed, and it's becoming public. You need to come to the office immediately, the lawyer urges. Ethan hangs up, conflicted. His eyes drift back toward the hospital doors, where Ava is still inside. He knows he can't afford to ignore this, but he also knows that if he doesn't act now, he may lose her forever. Ethan enters Ava's hospital room, determined but unsure. His eyes fall on her, sitting silently beside her mother. When she sees him, her expression remains unreadable. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Ava, Ethan says quietly, his voice breaking slightly. I've been thinking about everything, about us, about what I've done. And I've come to a realization that I can't keep running from my mistakes. I can't keep hiding the truth. Not from you, not from anyone. Ava's heart races as she watches him. Her eyes are full of doubt, full of the pain he's caused. What are you talking about, Ethan? What else is there to say? You've already ruined everything. Ethan steps closer, taking a deep breath. I'm not just talking about the business. There's something I've been keeping from you. Something I should have told you a long time ago. Ava's eyes narrow, waiting for. Ava faces her greatest choice yet, to embrace a future of healing with Ethan or to let go of everything she's fought for. As secrets unravel and truths come to light, she must decide whether love can truly conquer all. The episode begins with a quiet morning. Ava sits at her mother's bedside, her hand wrapped around her mother's cold fingers. The beep of the heart monitor is steady, a small comfort in the otherwise tense silence. She hasn't seen Ethan since last night, after their conversation in the hallway. Her mind is tangled. She's given so much to this relationship, so much trust, only to have it broken over and over again. But now, standing at the precipice of losing her mother, she realizes something crucial. She doesn't know if she can continue living in fear of being hurt. Her father walks into the room, his face weary but hopeful. Ava, he says softly, your mother is a fighter. She's been through worse, and she'll make it through this. Ava nods, not trusting her voice. I hope you're right, Dad. I don't know what to do anymore. The unseen visitorian. While, outside the hospital, Ethan waits, a mixture of hope and fear building in his chest. He hasn't heard from Ava all morning, and he can't stand not knowing how she's feeling. He stands up from the bench, pacing in the hospital lobby. He doesn't care about the business or the lawsuit anymore. It's Ava, only Ava, that matters. He's ready to walk away from it all if it means she'll give him a chance to prove his love and loyalty. Just then, his phone rings. It's his lawyer. He answers reluctantly, knowing that if he doesn't take the call, the consequences will be severe. Mr. Caldwell, we have a serious issue. The lawsuit has been filed, and it's becoming public. You need to come to the office immediately, the lawyer urges. Ethan hangs up, conflicted. His eyes drift back toward the hospital doors, where Ava is still inside. He knows he can't afford to ignore this, but he also knows that if he doesn't act now, he may lose her forever. Ethan enters Ava's hospital room, determined but unsure. His eyes fall on her, sitting silently beside her mother. When she sees him, her expression remains unreadable. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Ava, Ethan says quietly, his voice breaking slightly. I've been thinking about everything, about us, about what I've done. And I've come to a realization that I can't keep running from my mistakes. I can't keep hiding the truth. Not from you, not from anyone. Ava's heart races as she watches him. Her eyes are full of doubt, full of the pain he's caused. What are you talking about, Ethan? What else is there to say? You've already ruined everything. Ethan steps closer, taking a deep breath. I'm not just talking about the business. There's something I've been keeping from you. Something I should have told you a long time ago. Ava's eyes narrow, waiting for the next bombshell to drop. What is it? Ethan hesitates for a moment, then speaks. My father, he's behind the lawsuit. He's been pressuring me to go public with it. But I didn't want you to know because I thought it would push you away. I didn't want you to see how deep it all goes. But now I realize I'm just as responsible for letting it happen. Ava stares at him, the shock and betrayal flooding her mind. Your father? You knew all this time? Ethan's voice cracks. Yes. I didn't want to admit it, but I can't hide behind my family anymore. I've hurt you in ways that I can't fix with words, but I'm trying. I'm trying to be honest now. I need you to know everything. The hospital room grows heavy with tension as Ava absorbs the truth. It feels like the final straw, like she's already been broken too many times. Yet, something in Ethan's voice, something in his eyes, keeps her from pushing him away completely. For a moment, Ava doesn't know what to say. She's heard so many lies, so many broken promises. But as the silence stretches, she realizes that despite it all, she still feels something for him. Something raw, something real. I don't know if I can keep doing this, Ethan, Ava admits softly. I don't know if I can trust you again. Ethan reaches out, his hand trembling slightly. I know. But all I'm asking for is one more chance. Not to fix everything, not to erase the past, but to show you that I'm willing to do anything, everything, for you. For us. Ava takes a step back, her mind swirling with conflicting emotions. She looks at her mother, unconscious in the bed, and her heart clenches. Life has always been unpredictable, cruel at times, but also full of unexpected chances. I don't know if I can forgive you, Ethan, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. But maybe, just maybe, we can start over. If you're really willing to fight for us, for my trust, then we'll see. But this time, there's no room for more lies. No more secrets. Ethan nods, his eyes filled with sincerity. No more lies. I swear. As Ava and Ethan stand there, the final test arrives. The nurse enters the room, her face unreadable. Ava, it's time to make a decision about your mother. She's stabilized, but her condition is still fragile. We need your signature for the next course of treatment. Ava looks at Ethan one last time, the weight of her choice still heavy on her shoulders. She knows the decision isn't just about her mother's health or Ethan's promises, it's about her own healing. About choosing to move forward with or without the man she's loved, despite everything. After a long pause, she nods to the nurse. Go ahead, she says, signing the document. Ethan stands beside her, watching her every move, as she makes a choice not just for her mother, but for herself. For the first time in a long while, Ava feels like she's taking control of her life. Just as the nurse exits, a sudden, loud crash is heard from the hallway. Ava and Ethan rush out, only to find her father collapsing in the corridor. The shock is immediate. Her father's face is pale, and it's clear he's in distress. Dad! Ava cries, rushing to his side. Ethan calls for help, and the hospital staff quickly arrives to stabilize him. As they rush him into a room, Ava stands frozen, overwhelmed. She feels like her entire world is falling apart, yet in that moment, Ethan grabs her hand. "This isn't over, Ava," Ethan says firmly. "We'll get through this. Together." The episode closes with Ava standing at her father's side, Ethan by her side, as they await news of her father's condition. Despite everything, she's made a choice. She's not ready to give up, not ready to let the past define her future. She turns to Ethan, her heart still uncertain, but her resolve growing stronger. "We'll take it one day at a time. Together. But no more lies, Ethan. That's my final condition." Ethan smiles, relieved. "I can live with that. I'll prove myself to you, Ava. Every day." Ava watches as her father is wheeled into surgery, her heart torn between the love she's fought so hard to hold on to and the family she can't abandon. She doesn't have all the answers, but she knows one thing for sure: this is the beginning of something new.